Hello and welcome to eBay with Chris. In today's video, we're going to look at my November numbers, my profit and loss, all of my sales. We're going to go ahead and break down those numbers for you. And it should be really interesting because I didn't buy very much inventory. I also didn't list a lot. So not a lot of expenses in the month of November, but let's go ahead and check that out. Also, I do have good news. Today, my U-Haul boxes from the Seattle area are going to be in our driveway here in Florida. So I'm really excited to start offloading them and getting my inventory set up. So I'll share that video with you in the next couple of days. But the first thing I'm excited to offload is my espresso machine because I have been drinking instant coffee for the last couple of weeks and I'm looking forward to having some really good coffee. So anyways, too much information. I love my coffee. All right, let's go ahead and dive into the numbers. Okay, here we have my sales report for the month of November. You can see November 1st through November 30th. And you can see that my total sales were $7,621. Let me go ahead and zoom in on this a little bit there. There we go, 7,621.63. So pretty good month, but that does include two camera lenses that I sold for roughly, let's see, the total sales on those was $1,092. So if I subtract those two camera items out of my total sales of clothes only is $6,529. Still a pretty good month. In November, I had my entire store on sale for 25% off. I was trying to move all this inventory before we moved to Florida. I actually had some people order 8 to 10 items. You know, they were taking advantage of one of my offers was if you spend more than $100, you get free shipping. So I would have someone buy, 6 pairs of pants or 4 coats or things like that so they can get their free shipping. And yeah, sometimes that shipping might have cost me like $10 to $15, but it was worth it, I think, to get the inventory out of my store. So let's go ahead and look at my selling costs. You can see that my total selling cost for the month was $2,662.79, 34.9% of my total sales. And again, if you take out the selling cost of the two cameras that I sold, the selling cost for those cameras was $187. That's eBay fees included with shipping as well as their tax, things like that. So when you take that out, my actual selling costs of just clothes was $2,475. And then you go across to my net sales, which is the number that we all care about, $4,602.79 for the month. Again, if you take out my net sales from the two cameras, that was $905 net sales. So my net sales without the cameras was $3,697. So pretty good month, actually. I'm pretty happy with that. Again, $3,697 in net sales. Let's go over here to the quantity sold, 275. That's pretty good for 30 days in a month. What is that? An average of 9 items sold per day. That's kind of where I have been, somewhere between 7 and 9 the last few months. So even with the sale of 25% off, I actually didn't probably see a huge uptick in the number of items sold. So I'm really not sure how much benefit I got from that sale. I was expecting to see maybe an average of 10 to 12 items per day, something a little bit higher. But, I'm pretty happy with that, especially considering I didn't really list any new inventory in the entire month. I was focused on other things. So even without listing, I still had some pretty decent sales. Now let's look at my average sales price per item. I was expecting this, honestly, to be a lot lower. Now, this is with the camera. So with the cameras, with the camera lenses, my average is $27.72 per item. Now, I did take out the camera lenses and calculate it again. So what you do is you just take your total sales without the camera, divide it by 2 less items that I sold in the month. So I took $6,529, divided it by 273 items sold. And that gives me an average of $23.91. And I was curious, how much of a dip was that compared to my sales year to date? So I went ahead and filtered for January 1st through October 31st. And my year to date Average sales price per item was $24.93. So really in November, it only took a dip of $1 per item, which is better than I expected, honestly. I expected it to be maybe $3, $4 less, especially since my store was off on a 25% off sale for the entire month of November. So I usually don't look at this section too much, but I thought this was interesting. I had 250 total buyers, and I sold 275 items. And usually for me, my number of buyers and my number of total sales is almost the same. Like I rarely have anyone buy multiple items, but this time I had multiple people buy multiple items. I think that was because I had that sale going. So that was an interesting change for me. Okay, here we are at the sales chart. Again, $7,621. And you can see this huge spike here, right here on, what is that date? November 18th. I think I sold a camera lens in the morning, and then at night I sold another one. So basically, I shipped them out within a day or two of each other. And so the sales all showed up on one day. It really makes my chart look funky. But this bottom line down here is 500. And you can see probably my average sales per day was around 200, 250. And we'll go ahead and check out these numbers in a little bit more zoomed in here. So you can see like on November 1st, I had $134, then $400 on the 2nd, $345. You can kind of see. And then I had a few days where it was really slow for me, 200, 168, in the hundreds here. And then before the camera sold, here we are on Sunday, November 17th, $323. And then the cameras, of course, huge day here on $1,400 that day. And then November 19th, $254. And you can see we're in the $200 range, $245, $228, $311, $350. So $254, $373. And lastly, 221. So honestly, not huge numbers in total daily sales. It was just kind of, I guess, an average month as far as the dollars go, besides the two cameras. Okay, let's look at the total selling costs. Again, $2,662 in total selling costs. Let's break this down a little bit. Let me zoom in here. Total eBay fees, $1,033. Now that includes like ad fees. I had $62 in ad fees. I had like $34 in transaction fee credits, $59 in my account level fees or subscription fees. So let's go ahead and look at the final value fees as a percentage of my total sales. Let me go ahead and pause for a second and calculate that. Okay, so $944 divided by $7,621 in total sales results in 12.4% of final value fees, which is actually lower. I think that lower fee is driven by the two cameras that were sold, but my typical average is around 13.1, 13.2%, somewhere in there for my final value fees. So overall, pretty good. Let's check out my shipping label fees. It looks like, let's see, I spent $1,629 on shipping labels. Let's see how much the buyers paid for those same shipping labels. Okay, so here the buyers paid $1,829 for shipping labels. So it looks like I made a profit on my shipping labels of roughly $200. So the main thing on shipping labels is I don't want to lose money on my shipping labels, right? I want to make sure I'm at least even or making a little bit of money on shipping. Okay, so here's my profit and loss table for the month. And as you can see, it's very empty because I had very little expenses during the month. I didn't actually spend too much money in my business. And so it worked out pretty good. But I also included my 2024 average year to date for the months of January through October, just to give it some kind of comparison. Now, these are the actual numbers that landed in my bank. As you recall earlier in the video, my eBay payout for the month was actually about $4,600, but what hit my bank was $4,038. I think there was a payment like at the end of October, like October 30th or something like that, that hit my bank on the 30th, but maybe that $600 got credited to my November report. I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, I just go by the money that hit my bank and left my bank during the month. So that's how I look at it. So again, this is my profit and loss. On the right column there is November, $4,038. Cost of goods purchased for resale was $0. I spent no money on new inventory in the month of November. Again, I was getting ready for my move to Florida, so I wasn't purchasing any more inventory. Also, I didn't purchase any other office supplies or expenses like that. I was basically dwindling down my supplies of poly bags and poly mailers and things that I had. And instead of buying new ones, I didn't want to buy new and then have to ship it here to Florida. So I was just letting it go down, down, down. So office equipment, $0. Shipping, $0 outside of eBay. Software, I did have some software expenses. For the biggest one there is my VPN. I use my VPN for my eBay business. Also, $0 on labor, $0 on my listing services, and $0 on warehouse supplies. So my eBay profit for the month that went into my pocket, $4,021. So very profitable month when you don't have any expenses. But that is not typical, right? Typically, I'm going to have cost of goods that I purchase for resale. I'm going to have some office equipment, shipping, software. You can see my 2024 average numbers. My average eBay payout year to date is $3,138. My average cost of goods purchased for resale is $508. My average office equipment is $35. Outside of eBay shipping is just $2. Software for eBay is $27. Listing services $328. Warehouse supplies $175. So you can see my average eBay profit is $2,075 year to date. Now that has increased as we went along. Like at the beginning of the year, I think my profit was just about $1,000, and I really ramped up the amount of inventory I have in my store, which also ramped up my total sales and of course my total profit. So it keeps increasing. I'll go ahead and do an annual breakdown at the end of the year so you can see how my year went. But that's my profit and loss for the month of November. Well, thanks a lot for watching eBay with Chris. I hope that information was helpful for you. You know, that's why I make these videos, to hopefully help other sellers, to encourage other sellers to dive into this. It's definitely a nice side hustle or even a full-time income. And honestly, I think it's a lot of fun. It has a lot of flexibility. That's one of the reasons I enjoy it. It gives me a lot of time freedom as far as I can work when I want to work. I can list when I want to list. I can go shopping when I want to go shopping. So there's a lot of flexibility in it, and I really enjoy that. So hopefully by me sharing these numbers, it encourages you to do the same. You can do this if I can do this. So if you want to see my store, I do have a link below in my store. Also, if you want to see what kind of equipment I use in my eBay business, I do have Amazon affiliate links down below. And of course, I will get a small kickback if you do use those links, so I would appreciate that. But you can see the equipment that I use for my photo station, for my printer, my scale, that kind of stuff. It's all down in the links below, so go ahead and check that out. And finally, make sure you like and subscribe, share this video with others if you find the content helpful. And I just want to say I really appreciate you guys, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks a lot and take care.